Level 1. Street Baller. The future World Cup winner used to be the worst player on a street full of 9-year-olds. But what he learns there wins the United States a World Cup. That kid is you. Right now you're 14, 5'6", Mesa, Arizona. Your dad teaches high school chemistry. He's decided soccer isn't a real sport. Chess is a real sport. Soccer is what kids do when they can't handle math. The ones down the street, he says. The ones down the street are Mexican. He's convinced offside is a scam they invented to slow the game down. Your mom works nights in the ER. She's seen you conscious maybe 4 hours this month. The rest of the time she's watching Grey's Anatomy because apparently a real ER isn't dramatic enough. In Arizona, soccer is not cool. Football is cool. The popular kids play football. They're huge, and they spend more time on after-school cardio with the cheer squad than on the actual sport. 2 of them get a girl pregnant before they get a diploma. In this town, that's basically a scholarship. Your family can't afford the academy, so you play with the immigrant kids. Their families can't afford a real ball, so the ball is a half-flat Mikasa volleyball. The goals are 2 shopping carts some crackheads stole from the Walmart lot years ago. You're the only American out here. You figured that came with some kind of home field advantage. It does not. The 9-year-olds are better than you. Nobody passes to you. Ever. Diego is the best of them. He's 9. First week, he nutmegs you, stops the game so everyone got a good look, and asks if they let you use your hands in America, because your feet clearly don't. The whole block loses it. So you stop asking for the ball. You take it off Diego instead, and you slide it to whoever's making a run. Again. And again. 30 times in one Saturday. Until the best kid on the block is crying because the worst one won't let him keep it. Diego's dad watches the whole thing from the sideline. He stops watching his own son and starts watching you. He's the only one out there who knows how good Diego actually is. Far to the south, in a Brazilian favela, a kid your age keeps a rolled-up sock in the air. 400 touches. His name is Marcus Dinho. He's never owned a real ball. Just one stitched from his mother's clothes. The police killed her when he was 9. He has 8 younger siblings who eat before he does. He has nothing. Soon, he takes something important from you. In 2026, you line up against him in a World Cup final. Level 2. Youth Academy player. The man on the sideline was Diego's dad. Everyone on the block calls him Don Refugio, and he runs the under-5s at a half-pro club off the highway. He didn't knock on your door because you could play. He knocked because, in his words to your father, your boy can't play. But he sees the game. Let me have him Saturdays. Your dad said no. Your mom said yes louder. The first thing the academy does is meg you. Refugio's club trains on back pitches where the grass gives up. First drill, first rondo, 8 in a circle, 2 in the middle. You're in the middle. A 14-year-old nutmegs you so cleanly the whole circle stops to appreciate it. You wear the yellow bib, the bib of shame. You'll wear it so often the kit man starts handing it to you on the way in, to save everyone the trouble. Everybody here can do things with the ball you can't. Half of them already have agents. Grown men in quarter zips fighting over kids who can't legally sign anything. And then there's you, retaping cleats that were knockoffs when you bought them. The coach wants to cut you after 2 weeks. What saves you is a vest. They make you wear a GPS tracker under your shirt, a plastic pod that reads everything. When the assistant pulls the data, your name is at the top of exactly 1 column. Not goals, not assists, distance covered, sprint count. You ran more than anyone, touched the ball the least, and topped a stat nobody has ever once chanted from a terrace. He keeps you for the engine, not the feet. The engine. You're kept for being willing to suffer. You start watching film at 1 in the morning on a cracked laptop, not the strikers, the destroyers. You learn where to stand before the ball gets there and how to step across a passing lane. You can't beat a man, but you can make sure he never gets the ball in the first place. 3 years go by like that. By senior year at the spring showcase in front of scouts with clipboards, you don't score. You don't assist. You erase their best player. A kid committed to a Division I college. Recover the ball 15 times, and your team wins 1-0. Afterward, a scout writes a name in his pad. It's yours, not the goal scorer's. Yours. At home, it's a Cold War. Your dad puts your college acceptance letter on the kitchen table like evidence. This soccer thing ends in May. Your mom, still in scrubs from a double, says, or it doesn't. Nobody finishes dinner. That summer your club travels to the Dallas Cup. And a man in an Aston Villa polo watches you for 90 minutes, walks straight past the kid who scored twice, and hands you a card. He says the sentence you'll repeat to yourself for years. We've got plenty of lads who can score. We need one who eats grass. You want to do that in England? You have a soccer scholarship to nowhere and a one-way conversation with your father. You take the card. You don't know it yet, but a kid from a Brazilian favela is already waiting at the place you're going. He'll take more from you than the game ever does, and the worst of it won't happen on a pitch. Level 3. Reserve team player. Nobody tells you that Premier League and Premier League reserves are two different planets. You land at Aston Villa in February thinking you're one good month from the first team. Instead, you get a peg in the under-21's changing room and a club flat with a knocking radiator. You eat a Greg's meal deal alone. A sausage roll, a Coke, a flapjack, £1.95. And call it dinner, because that's what the lads do and because it's what you can afford. 8 years from now, 90,000 people will scream your name at a World Cup final on home soil. Tonight, you're Googling one-way flights back to Phoenix on a phone with a cracked screen. Your wage is £500 a week. It feels enormous until you meet Marcustinho. He's your exact age, Villa's Academy golden boy. Shipped in from Brazil at 15, the kind of kid Sky's already calling the next Vinicius on a slow news day. Boot deal. A leased Mercedes he's too young to insure. He scored one worldie in a friendly and has shown the clip to everyone he's met since. On your second day, in front of everyone, he picks your boots up off the bench, taped at the toe, the badge half peeled, and holds them up like he found a dead animal. Somebody call this, he says. He runs 7 miles a game and the ball still hates him. You're a taxi, gringo. All meter, no passengers. The room laughs. You can't say anything back because saying anything back makes you the guy who can't take a joke. So you let it happen. Then he takes a Sharpie and writes one word across your left boot. Taxi. You play a good game that week. You break up everything and set the tempo. The staff debrief is 4 minutes long, and 3 of them are about Marcus's 2 goals. That night you call home, and your dad picks up on the first ring. Come home, he says. Go to college. This was always going to happen. You open the airline app. You get as far as the payment screen. Then you see Marcus on the high street, outside a Western Union, counting 20s into the window. You learn it in pieces over the next month. 8 younger siblings. The oldest a sister, 15, holding the rest together now that he's gone. A mother killed in a police raid on the favela when he was 9. A father who left bruises before he left for good. The Mercedes is a costume. The arrogance is armor. He welded on so nobody sees the kid underneath. Every Friday he wires almost his whole wage home to her through that window. It doesn't make you friends. He still calls you taxi. But the word lands differently now, like he's not laughing at you so much as defending something. You don't book the flight. The club calls you in. You're not special here. There are 6 of you who run. So they're sending you somewhere you'll actually play. A League One club. A whole division down. You should be crushed. Instead, for the first time since you landed, you can breathe. Level 4. Loaned out player. Stockdale Town's gym is a porta-cabin behind the away end, and the pitch in November is less grass than negotiation. This is League One. No GP's vests. No nutrition app. There's a kit man, Big Kev, here since 1994, and a 38-year-old center half named Doggy, who has a mortgage, 3 kids, and no fear of you. The football is long, fast, and angry. The first time you ask where the recovery shakes are, a grown man laughs so hard he has to sit down. And here, finally, you are good, not a star. The heartbeat. The gaffer takes one look at your legs and your reads and builds the whole team in front of you. You're undroppable inside a week. They pay you £1,400 a week, and for the first time football covers your own rent, and you nearly cry signing the lease because no one is hiding your cleats anymore. Lower league fans don't want flair. They want a man who will run through a wall and apologize to the wall. They find out about the nickname somehow. These things travel. And at first the away ends use it against you. Taxi, taxi, give us a ride. Then comes the derby. Their big summer signing is a hyped loanee from a top 6 academy, all step-overs and Instagram followers and zero interest in tracking back. You don't let him have a single clean touch for 90 minutes. You don't foul him. You just turn off his electricity. By the 70th minute, he's begging his own bench to take him off, and the Stockdale end, 4,000 people in the rain, start singing it back. But it's yours now. He drives the bus, he drives the bus, he drives the Stockdale bus. A 9-year-old has your name on the back of a shirt. Someone hangs a bedsheet over the tunnel with taxi painted on it, and underneath, in smaller letters, ours. The insult became an anthem. Same word. Whole different sport. A year and a half in, the chairman takes you to a curry house and slides a permanent contract across the table, ink still wet. A squad number that's yours. For the first time you want to stay somewhere, and you almost say yes between the papadums and the main course. Then your phone goes. Aston Villa. Recall clause activated. They won't sell you to Stockdale at any price. They want you back. For the first team. You don't get a vote. You can be wanted by people who love you and owned by people who don't, and the people who own you win every time. You clean out the porta-cabin peg. Big Kev shakes your hand and says nothing. Doggy says, "Go on then, taxi. Don't forget us when you're up there." The Stockdale end never gets to say goodbye. You drive back up the M6 toward a first team that didn't ask for you, to play for a manager who didn't sign you, alongside a striker who named you after a car. Guess who's waiting? Level 5. First team footballer. Marcus's first words to you since the reserves, on your first day back in the first team building. Feed me, taxi. That's the whole job now. He's the number 9, the franchise. 40 goals across 2 seasons, a haircut sponsor, and a celebration he basically copyrighted. You're the number 6. The one who sits in front of the back 4 and does the work nobody films. Training is a problem from day one. A 50-50 in a small-sided game, both of you in late, his elbow finds your jaw on the way down. You get up. He gets up. The staff turn it into a boys being boys line for the press and quietly move your lockers apart. The wage is $28,000 a week. You stop telling your dad the number because it embarrasses both of you for opposite reasons. You make the tackle that stops the counter, and the camera cuts to the striker jogging back. You play the pass that keeps the move alive, and Carragher calls you tidy but limited, while the highlights desk can't find a single clip of you to run. On the forums you're a poor man's can't, which stings because you'd kill to be any kind of can't. The things that win games and the things that get talked about are 2 different lists, and you're very good at the wrong one. A Tuesday night at home, 0-0, 94th minute. Their winger breaks clean and it's a goal. Except you've already read it, you're already there, and you slide in and take the ball so cleanly the ref doesn't even check. Then you get up and start the move that wins it. Marcus finishes it. The highlight package that night is 90 seconds long and it's all him. The celebration, the badge kiss, the close-up. The manager finds you in the corridor after. They don't see it, he says. I do. You're the most important player I've got. Don't you dare change. You hold on to it like a receipt. Marcus scores 26 that season and Neymar's every one of them. Real Madrid come in February. The full circus. The white shirt held up over his head at the Bernabeu. $350,000 a week. 12 times what you make for the man who shares your changing room and your enemy. The last clash is the worst one. A reducer in training, both benches emptying, his finger in your face. And then he's gone. Sold, framed, gone. And on his way out, he leans into your ear in the tunnel. Enjoy the bus, taxi. You think that's the last thing he ever takes from you. It isn't. The one that will actually hurt you haven't even met yet. But here's what he doesn't notice on his way to Madrid. The manager doesn't replace him with another 9 and rebuild around the goals. He rebuilds around you. That summer, an email lands with a crest you've only ever seen on a TV your dad refused to turn on. The United States men's national team. They're watching you, it says. Not calling, just watching. For now. Level 6. Top flight player. The same word they used to bury you. Limited? The manager now says into a microphone like a compliment. He's our metronome. Everything runs through him. Same player. They just finally aimed the camera at the right place. With Marcus in Madrid, the team doesn't get worse. It gets calmer. You sit in front of the back 4 and the whole thing breathes at the tempo you set. The pundits who buried you start saying your name next to Rodri's, and you have to sit down the first time you hear it. The new contract is $90,000 a week. The first time the bank app shows 7 figures, you screenshot it, then delete it. You meet Sophia at a watch counter in Harrods. She's holding a Royal Oak, explaining kindly why it beats the Nautilus, and you nod like you know what either word means. A month later, you own one. £40,000 on your wrist to tell the time you could read off the phone in your other hand. Sophia is the kind of girl the cardio kids dated while you were getting nutmegged on the block in Mesa. With her on your arm, you feel, for the first time, like you cut into the life you used to watch from the outside. The cool one, the one that was never yours. You like who you are in the photos. You don't notice she likes the photos more than she likes you. Suddenly there's an agent, a financial advisor who's really a mate's cousin, and a man whose entire job is carrying your bag through airports. A real salary for holding a bag. Your form dips. You're half a yard slow because half a yard of you is somewhere else. The manager benches you. The fans who sang your name start asking if you've lost it. You sit in the stand in a coat worth a month of Stockdale wages. So you go back to the only thing that's ever worked. 1 a.m, the laptop, the film. You strip the new life back down to the kid who only had the engine, win your shirt back, and drag the whole team up the table behind you. You win the league, not with a goal. You don't score that season either. You win it the way you win everything, by being the reason the men around you look better than they are. You lift the Premier League trophy with taxi still inked on your boot, because you redo it before every final now. A private joke that stopped being a joke a long time ago. Somewhere in Madrid, a man you used to share a locker with watches it on TV. Your mom watches it from a break room television in the ER, still in scrubs. And your dad, the man who hid your cleats, sends a text. 3 words he has never once said to you. Maybe I was wrong. You save it. You don't text back. Some replies you save for in person. The call comes the same week as the medal. Not a monitoring letter this time. A real one. The United States wants you in camp. And there's a World Cup coming to home soil, and your name is suddenly in that sentence. You're still holding the phone, grinning at the ceiling when Sophia mentions, light, casual, already half out the door, that the girls are doing a trip next month. To Madrid. Level 7. International player. The first time you sing the anthem with the badge on your chest, you're 14 again, back on the block in Mesa, the kid nobody picked, and you have to bite the inside of your cheek so you don't lose it on national television. Camp is humbling in a new direction. ML's kids, Bundesliga kids, a goalkeeper who plays in Italy. Every one of them grew up being told they were special, while you grew up being told to study. Your uncle still texts you NFL box scores and asks when you'll play a real sport, one with helmets and commercial breaks. Your family won't set an alarm for a 9 a.m. European kickoff, but they'll drive 4 hours for a cousin's flag football tournament. You let the badge do the arguing. Then, in a hotel corridor at camp, a teammate turns his phone around with a face you'll never forget. Half pity, half better you hear it from me. It's Sophia. On a rooftop in Madrid. On Marcus Dinho's arm. The girls' trip was a Marcus trip. The favela kid who took your boots' dignity has now taken the one thing you thought was finally, privately yours. The tabloids have it by morning. Your phone becomes a thing you can't look at. The kid from the locker room 6 years later picking your pocket again. Except this time it's not a Sharpie. You don't post anything. You don't call her. You take all of it. The rooftop, the laughing room, the word taxi, and carry it onto the pitch. 3 days later, a World Cup qualifier. You don't score. You never score. But you break the game in half. You win every loose ball on the continent, you turn their playmaker into a passenger. And by the final whistle, the commentators are saying something they never have. That the United States runs on this guy. From limited runner to the engine of a country in 90 minutes of pure spite. In the huddle after, the captain pulls everyone in close. 18 months, he says. Home soil. We are not here to make up the numbers. Look around. This is the group that does it. And on the other side of the bracket, qualifying out of South America, is Brazil. With Marcus Dinho, captain, talisman, the face on the billboard. The collision isn't a fantasy anymore. There's a meeting waiting at your club. The veteran captain has been sold, and the manager slides a piece of fabric across the desk. The club captain's armband. A stretchy bit of elastic that somehow weighs more than the Premier League trophy did. You, club captain. The kid kept for his engine, the man named after a car, the one who never scores. You put it on, and you understand for the first time that the job just stopped being about you. Level 8. Club captain. The armband doesn't make you a better player. It makes you responsible for 24 of them, which is a different and much worse job. There's a 17-year-old just up from the academy. American, a suburb outside Atlanta, picked last on his street, kept for his engine, the whole thing. The staff already have a nickname for him you pretend not to hear. You watch him stay back after every session to run the meters nobody asked for, and you know exactly where that comes from. You invented it. He looks at you the way you once looked at the destroyers on a 1 a.m. screen. So you tell him the only thing that ever helped you. Watch where the ball's going to be, not where it is. He writes it on the back of his hand. You have to leave the room. Captaincy is mostly admin. fining grown millionaires for showing up late and lying to journalists with a straight face. It costs you 2 hours of sleep a night. Then the Champions League draw pairs you with Real Madrid, with Marcus. First time you've shared a pitch with him since a phone got turned around in a hotel corridor. He's a Galactico now. Bigger, slower, more dangerous in the box, his face 80 feet tall on the side of the stadium. The whole tie is built around feeding him, so you do the Makelele job on a Ballon d'Or nominee. You take the ball away from the place he lives. 2 legs, 180 minutes, and he gets nothing. No space, no service, no fair. You don't foul him. You don't talk to him. You just turn off his electricity the way you did a hyped low knees at Stockdale, except now it's the biggest club night there is. You win the tie. In the tunnel he looks at you, and you walk straight past him without a word, and the silence says everything the Sharpie ever did in the other direction. You captain the club to the Champions League. You lift the biggest trophy in the sport with taxi inked on your boot, because of course you redid it before the final. 8 figures in the bank now. You genuinely couldn't tell anyone the number. And none of it, not the armband, not the cup, not the watch, lands the way the next sentence does. It's a World Cup year, 2026. The tournament is coming to the United States, to Mexico, to Canada, to home soil, the way the captain promised in that huddle. The squad gets named. You're not just in it. Your country hands you the armband too. You're leading it. The kid whose dad hid his cleats is going to a home World Cup with a country on his back. Brazil are favorites. Of course they are. And their captain, their talisman, the face on every billboard from Rio to Times Square, is a man who once held your boots up like roadkill. The bracket comes out. You trace the lines with your finger the way you used to trace passing lanes on a cracked laptop. If you both keep winning, there's only one place it ends. Level 9. World Cup winner. Both of you kept winning. Of course you did. The final. United States against Brazil on home soil. Marcus Dinho is across the halfway line in yellow. Captain's armband on his arm. The boy from the favela with the sock ball. Grown into the best forward on the planet. You're in white. The boy from the block who got picked last. Grown into the man no attack gets through. In the tunnel, the whole thing arrives at once. The deflated Mikasa. The yellow bib. The Greg's meal deal. The Sharpie. Sofia. Madrid. He glances down at your boots. Taxi, still there, re-inked this morning. And something almost like a smile crosses his face. Neither of you says a word. You've already said it all, in 2 directions, over 12 years. The game is a war. He scores once, a finish only he could make, and the stadium goes silent in a way 90,000 people shouldn't be able to. You drag your team back into it. You don't score. You never score. 88th minute. Level. The ball drops toward Marcus on the halfway line, and you've seen this exact moment 1,000 times on a 1 a.m. screen. You know where his first touch is going before he does. You're already there. You take it off him clean, the way you took it off everyone, all the way back to the asphalt. And then the kid who never scores, who never even assists, does the one thing he was mocked for never doing. You look up and you slide the perfect ball. The fair Marcus screamed for in training all those years ago. Into the run of the kid from Atlanta, the one who got picked last on his street, arriving late from midfield the way you taught him. Not where the ball is, where it's going to be. He buries it. The taxi finally picked up a passenger. It just wasn't him. The United States win the World Cup. In the stand, a high school chemistry teacher who hid your cleats and called this a waste is wearing a USA shirt he'll deny buying until the day he dies, crying in a way you have never seen. Next to him is the woman who said yes louder, who worked every double so you could chase this. She isn't crying. She just watches you run. And back in a living room in Mesa, the immigrant kids who wouldn't pass to you. Grown men now, Diego in the middle of them, cousins packed onto the couch, are screaming at the TV, swearing they used to nutmeg you every day on that block. They did. You finally gave them something worth lying about. At the whistle, you find Marcus. You swap shirts the way you swore as kids you never would. He turns yours over, sees the name, then looks one more time at the boots. Still the taxi, he says. Somebody finally paid the fare, you tell him. You don't think about Sofia, or the rooftop, or Madrid. That ledger closed itself the second the ball hit the net. That night, you don't think about the trophy, or the 8 figures, or the watch. You think about a deflated Mikasa and 2 shopping carts for goals on a block in Mesa, Arizona. The kids who wouldn't pass to you. The man on the sideline who watched you run when nobody else did and saw the only thing that was ever going to matter. He was right. You can't really play. But God, can you run? If this one stayed with you, like and drop a comment with where you're watching from. Also, let me know in the comments. Who do you think is going to win the World Cup this time? Subscribe for more.